everyone, and welcome to this video commentary.
Another one.
Yes, for the direct sequel to The Fear Inside, Epilogue. You got anything to say before we watch the film?
No, not at all.
There's your insight.
That's why I can't describe something until I see it.
Well, a bit of backstory really before we get into it is Epilogue is the first direct sequel we made in this little cinematic universe we created, even though I hate using that word. And the idea kind of popped into my head as we were developing Listener to keep the story going on. I wanted to make something that we could easily make, kind of almost to keep the story going a little bit.
Yeah.
So
to overlap.
And to almost tie up your story a little bit. That was the idea.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into it. This is Epilogue. NickeRMel. And we've got a little audio commentary from Harvey here.
This is
the beginning
of the end.
And there we go, snap cut into you just after you've kind of abandoned your family after you've got several visions from the object. And what I like about this film is it's almost seeing, unlike The Fear Inside and the object, you get the twist but you never really sit with the twist. And with Epilogue I really wanted to kind of determine that aftermath of what happens after someone finds out this mysterious object is supernatural in nature and what it does to their lives. So this was really showing off the effects of what happens to a person when this mysterious entity starts to completely take control of you, and what happens to your mind essentially. Because even though we're visually seeing Mr. Myers try to run away from the events, it's affecting his mind in a lot of ways, and he's kind of being overwhelmed by his memories of the alternate realities that have been caused by this. Like, for instance, this is why when Fear Inside came out...
Remind me after this to tell you about the end of that alley.
The end of that alley? Okay. I don't know what's that got to do with the video commentary anyway.
No,
but yes...
well, that's the famous alley.
Here we go with the object, you staring at it and realising its potential danger. And as I was saying about the endings, we wanted to make, because if Fear Inside was an interactive film, we wanted to make all three of those endings canon. So the only way to do that really was to make
reality change.
Yeah, and with the object, it changes time. So I thought, what if we saw alternate versions of the possible future? This is the aftermath of that, and how Mr. Myers is dealing with all those realities coming crashing down almost on him as the entity inside of the object is trying to almost find a new host. And this is the bit in particular where you forget about it. It's almost let you forget about it as it's trying to navigate its way to its new host. So you walk around and you leave it, and then it's just sitting there
to be picked up by.
It's planning whatever's inside the object. We'll find out soon. But yes, this was literally the branching out point of this timeline, really, because all these movies, shall we say, this was setting up the listener as well, because this character that we've just met, Dennis Clark, played by Michael Furt, is the best friend of Joanna Taylor, and obviously I knew already that Joanna Taylor was going to be the main character of the listener storyline. So that was a way to get the object to her without kind of spoiling the events of what happened to that film. And with that teaser now gone, we've gone back to you. You're now objectless, so essentially your protection from all these realities crashing down on you is gone. So all the voices are coming back to you and affecting you. Any insight into how you felt when you were filming this scene?
Yeah, I'm very confused as to what I was doing, really. But this, I was supposed to be. That was the whole effects of it. It's almost real because I don't know what's going on.
So you use your less knowledge to kind of affect where's going on.
Exactly.
And we're almost replaying like the sense of you trying to, in one reality you tried to escape through the field, and now you're trying to do it again, but your body is almost failing you a little bit as you're getting glimpses of the earlier realities.
There's the famous bench there too.
Yes, the famous bench that will be revisited a couple of times in these films. And there's the famous door shot, which we'll get back to in the Fear Inside commentary. And here we go. Finally succumbing to your mental wound, shall we say, and collapsing. And this scene, I left it up to interpretation, but I might as well say it now because it is explained a bit in the Object Legacy. Is this isn't really Andrew Myers at the current timeline. This is almost a premonition of the entity inside of the object, almost teasing you. Like it's almost saying, look who I'm going to choose. Look who I'm going to choose as my next host. And you're like, oh my god, it's my son. No, what am I going to do?
Leave it alone, yeah.
But yes, he's already become Evil Andrew, as we've nicknamed him, because we can't say his real name because that hasn't been revealed yet. But here we go. It's the last time
My son.
we see Mr. Myers ever.
Is that my final death scene?
That is yes and no.
But because I'm there in the future, but that's a different reality.
Basically, in the Object Legacy, what you'll see is, in The Fear Inside, we saw the Beast come in and kill Jonathan and Andrew. But it's explained between Andrew and Jeffrey that the entity changed the timeline to create it so you replace them in that death. So you're the one that gets dragged away by the Beast instead of Andrew, and then the Beast comes home and kills Jonathan and Margaret. But this was kind of like the early part of this reality forming almost. And here we go, another wonderful bit of music by Andrew Fife.
Oh yeah.
Because this was like one of the first concept pieces he sent to me, and that's the end really. That's the way it goes. Things will never be the same. Any final thoughts for Epilogue?
No, it's just it's good, but I find as an observer and the actor in it that not even I know where we're going with it.
Yes. And you could say that's a complaint a little bit. And
it's not.
No, I can understand people's like questioning of that, because if you see that film by itself without context, like say for instance seeing The Fear Inside or seeing any of the future films in the timeline, it can be a bit confusing. And I think where the Businessman and the Object Legacy excels is, yes, they are set in a timeline, and yes, they do reference events that happen. The Object, The Fear Inside, The Businessman and the Object Legacy, I think, stand on their own the best as standalone films where you could just jump in on that film and watch them.
Whereas this you can't.
This
is a part of something else, almost.
Whereas you know what I like, you could probably watch by itself.
Yeah,
just be a little confusing with the characters. Frost is a very much setting up the world, and I think with Epilogue it's very much an epilogue to The Fear Inside, so it's very hard to just watch it go. And that was an interesting film when there isn't much plot aside from the ending of a story. So I think that's when we came to the director's cut of Fear Inside. I decided to add that into the end of The Fear Inside. So now, if you watch the end of The Fear Inside, the director's cut, you'll have that experience with it. You'll get the whole story of Mr. Myers' final adventure with the object.
I see.
So, any closing thoughts on the film?
I don't think so. No, I think we've said just about everything we can for a very short film.
Well, I guess that's the insight from our lead actor, Stephen Reed. So thank you very much for watching Epilogue with us. I hope you enjoyed this very much experimental and kind of film to kind of teach you over to the next one. And we shall see you soon for another video commentary, I'm sure.
Very soon.
Seriously. So bye. See you later.
Bye.
Ciao for now.
Now you want to get right now.